Hey everyone, welcome back. And this is another anime review. And as much as it pains me to even think about this fucking anime right now, I have to review it. I just have to. I'm reviewing Shinsekai Yori right now. Okay, Shinsekai Yori, also known as From the New World. Now, before I get into the actual review portion of this video, I just want to let you know, this is the most depressing anime, painfully depressing anime I've ever seen in my life. Okay. Really, it is. And if you don't like that kind of stuff, don't watch it. And the thing is, I actively seek out that kind of stuff myself. Okay. But the thing is that it didn't seem like that way at first. In fact, it didn't really pull me in until several episodes had passed. I don't remember what the exact point was where it pulled me in, but it didn't pull me in right away. Okay, it took a few episodes, so I do just want to get that out there as well. I personally think that it has a very slow start. But when it gets going, it really gets going. I finished the first 11 episodes of this anime pretty sporadically within roughly a month's time. And then I finished the rest of it, episodes 12 through 25, which yes, this is a 25 episode series. I finished those episodes within less than 24 hours. And there you go. So I really think that that's the best. Like when it reaches that point, I honestly think that that's the best of the series right there. Okay. So yeah, but anyways though, Shinsekai Yori. First off, I do want to say this is a very unique series in the sense that it has quite a unique premise. It basically takes place far in the future, although before it stated that specifically, I honestly thought it was far in the past due to how the series actually looks. But no, it's actually far into the future. Alright, I don't remember exactly how far into the future. I don't know if it even said so in general, but it takes place far in the future. And the reason I know this is because many times throughout the course of the series, it mentions the days of the days of civilized humanity, maybe, or something like that. So basically it was referencing our times, and there was even instances in the series where it referenced like nuclear weapons from civilized societies, what it was. You know, it references nuclear weapons from civilized society, and really there's just lots of references like that, which tells you that which tells you that it takes place far into the future, but it takes place in a dystopian future. Now, it was kind of vague on what exactly caused this dystopian future, but I think it was basically due to all the wars and struggles that happened between humanity and the rising races, which there's a race in this series called the Queer Rats. And the Queer Rats are actually split up into two separate races called the Robber Fly, or Monster Rats as they're also called, and they're split up into two different colonies, the Robber Fly colony and the I forget what the other colony's called. Hold on a sec here. Okay, yeah, so the Robber Fly colony led by Squealer, and then the Giant Hornets colony led by Kiromaru. So, yeah, so those are basically the rising races. And an interesting part about humanity is that humanity has a power called Canctus. And what Canctus is basically an ability that, from what I understood, each human being are able to manifest it differently. So, for example, I think it's Satoru. Although it might be Shun or it might be Mamoru, I don't remember which one of the three it is. But it basically allows that one of those three to control fire, but not really control fire per se. They can look at things and ignite whatever they're seeing. Okay, and the character Maria is able to basically levitate and fly really fast and whatnot through the air. And those are just some examples. Okay. Now, so that's the basic gist of it, although they can never attack at fellow humans, because if they do, well, something called death feedback will occur, and basically, even whether they succeed or not, they'll still end up dying because of it. Now, I don't think they ever explained exactly how that happens, but that basically prevents humans from going to war with each other with their powers. Okay. Now, the basic gist of this series is that from an early age, children are put into elementary school and they're basically taught all the basic stuff that we're taught. However, once they graduate, they're taken to the Temple of Purity, and they're basically put through a ritual which is meant to cleanse them of all their sins, to make them forget about the worldly desires, and then they're put into, whether that works or not, it's dependent completely on the person, but whether it works or not, then they're put directly into middle school, where they're taught middle school stuff, standard middle school stuff, but the biggest thing they're taught there is how to unlock and control their power canvas, whatever it will manifest into. Okay? And it's very interesting because if a person gets too powerful, they're actually eliminated, and any trace of the, and anyone who was close to, well, any of their friends anyways, their family seems to remember, but any of their friends who are close to them ends up getting their memories erased out of their existence. By the way, lots of spoilers in here, alright? So if you haven't seen it yet, go away now. Shun, the character Shun, as you saw in there, you know, he was, he got too powerful, and so they eliminated him. Although Saki does end up going to the world that he at wants to see him. That was never fucking explained how she got there and where that was, but basically Shun became what's known as a karmic demon because he got too powerful and they had to eliminate him. And thus Saki and Mamoru and Satoru and Maria end up forgetting about him. Okay. However, if a kid is too weak, so that they're unable to fight for humanity, they'll also eliminate them. As an example of this is Saki's younger sister, who I forget what her name was. Okay, and they'll also erase the memories then. So it's very bleak what they do here. Okay, and this is really where it starts to get really depressed. That really depressing is that these memories are erased, and which any plot where that involves forcefully erasing memories has me be really sad for it. All right, maybe that's just me personally though. Another classic example of how depressing the series can get is when Maria and Mamoru ends up like Saki, Satoru, Mamoru, and Maria ends up going out to help the queer rats because, you know, they helped them out before, so they wanted to return the favor basically. And Maria and Mamoru ends up staying out there because Mamoru was hurt and he couldn't come back by himself. So then Satoru and Saki ended up coming back themselves, and then they were sent back out there forcefully and had 3 days to bring them back, or else the queer rats, which are working for humanity for them, at least that's what it's made to believe at first in the series, which they always send the queer rats to eliminate people, or the trickster cats, which don't really go into much detail in the series, so I'm not really going to go into much detail about them right here. So they basically had 3 days to bring the two back, and they couldn't find them. All they could find was a letter given to them by the leader of the queer rats, Squealer, who was later known as Yakomaru when he was promoted. Okay. He gives them a letter that Mario wrote that he ended up finding that basically says that they're going to leave and never come back. Maria, although by that point, that was after the first time skip, and Maria and Saki basically had a lesbian relationship with one another, but Maria cared enough for Mamoru that she wanted to stay with him and protect him. because he was very weak-minded. And what I mean by that is that it didn't take a lot to break him, okay? And she felt sorry for him, she wanted to protect him, and out of a sense of duty, the two of them even ended up having a child together, okay? And Saki and Satoru were able to get by, thankfully, without losing their memories of Maria and Mamoru, okay? What really sucks, though, is at the end of the series when that child that the two of them had together, Mamoru and Maria, which in the anime it's a girl, but I heard that in the manga it's a boy, and ends up being controlled by the queer rats, because apparently the queer rats, namely the robber fly colony, ended up killing the two of them, and then taking their, which they've done to a lot of people, and then take their infants and train them as a member of the robber fly colony. Okay, at first Saki thought that was Maria turned into a fiend, then she found out that that was actually Maria's daughter, and so then she thought it was Maria's daughter turned into a fiend, but then she realized she was just raised her whole life by the robber fly colony, so she thought she was actually a monster rat, even though she wasn't. And it's really sad because she ended up dying in the end due to death feedback because she tried to attack Saki with her cactus. And I could just go on and on and on about this fucking series. Okay, but I won't do it any justice. Although there were lots of places in the series where I got confused on the story. Now, I didn't realize at first that it was death feedback that killed her, because I was wondering how the fuck did she die. But someone did clear that up for me. But I have a few other things that I'm confused about. First off, towards the end of the final episode, it talked all about, someone burnt down after that fight, someone ravaged the villages, killed lots more people, burnt down the Temple of Purity, among other things. And it was led on to believe that it was that child. So that would make us believe that she wasn't actually dead. But if they ended the series without either bringing her back or killing her, one or the other, she's just out there somewhere, that is horseshit, okay? Another thing that kind of confuses me, they said that in order to become a karmic demon, one's power has to escalate, so that is way too powerful for them to control, okay? So, what about that guy known as Shisei? I'm gonna actually... Okay, it's Shisei Kaburagi. Alright, it's referenced very early on in the series that he's so powerful that he could split the Earth in two if he concentrated hard enough. So how come he never became a karmic demon? I mean, he did end up dying towards the end of the series, but that's only due to death feedback because he tried to attack the child because he thought the child was a fiend when really she wasn't. Because if you attack a karmic demon or a fiend with your cactus, that doesn't count as death feedback because they're not considered to be humans anymore. Okay, but really she wasn't. She was still a human. So that's why he died due to death feedback. But really, why did he never die due to the overloading of his powers? Never fucking explained. Okay, and another thing is that did Satoru remember Shun in the end? Because it's kind of sad if he didn't, I don't think he did, but that's never really referenced. Furthermore, did Saki and Satoru forget about Mamoru and Maria in the end? Because that's never really referenced. It's like, and I know what you're probably going to say, it's an open-ended ending. Yeah, well, you know what, that's absolute fucking horseshit too, because all an open-ended ending is an excuse when a writer is incapable of coming up with a proper ending, okay? That's not a fucking ending. That's all that an open-ended ending is. That's all that an open-ended ending is. I'm not buying that shit at all. I'm not saying the ending of the series is terrible. It's not. It just leaves a lot to be desired. Now, there might be a season 2. I don't know. From what I've heard, the manga's actually still ongoing past this point. I'm not caught up in it yet, but I am trying to read through it, though. So, yeah. So, who knows? We might get a season 2, maybe. It's kind of cool. The only happy part about the ending is that Saki and we ended up having another time skip, I think, because there's two major time skips in the series. The first is 2 years, and the second is 12 years. But at the end here, I think we do get another time skip where Sasaki and Satoru end up having a child together, basically. He's not born yet, but Saki's pregnant, basically. So I thought it was kind of interesting. Whether they actually fell in love or this is a sense of duty, I don't know, but yeah. Anyways, though, there could be a season 2, probably, though, if the manga is still ongoing, because I've always said that if the manga, if an anime is based off a manga and the manga is still ongoing, the anime is not fucking finished. Period. Okay? That's just my opinion. But anyways, I think... man, I've already talked so much about the story, but... the characters are all very likable too. You know, Saki Watanabe, the main character, Satoru Asahina, Maria Akizuki, Shun Aonuma, Mamoru Ito. Oh, alright. You know, I mean, those are all the main characters, and the reason the series is so depressing about what happens to them is because they're such likable characters and they are so well written. Okay? Now let's talk about the writing in general. The writing in the series is very good, okay? All of the dialogue, it just flows perfectly. It doesn't feel like it's stilted, robotic, or wooden, or forced, like it does a lot of times, okay? And it balances the more serious moments with the most the depressing moments with the most general dramatic moments perfectly, I honestly think. In terms of the music is very good as well. Let me just see who composed this real quick. Music by Shigeo Komori. So I'm not too sure who that is, but whoever it is, though, this guy did a very good job with the music. And the thing is, there's not always music in every single scene, but that's more appropriate, though, because the scenes where there is no music, it complements it, I think, better than if there was music. It helps build up tension even more, okay? Let's see, this is a fairly recent series, too. It started in September 29, 2012 and ran to March 23, 2013. Yeah, fairly recent. But anyways, though. Oh yeah, and then it was produced by A1 Pictures, so I honestly think this is the best series from A1 Pictures I've ever fucking seen. From them, period. Okay? What else? I love the art in this series, too. That's something I do want to talk about real quick. The art is this kind of like watercolor type of art, I guess you could say, and I really love the way it looks. And the animation is very fucking good as well, too. Like, really, it is fantastic animation. So yes, anyways, is there anything else for me to really talk about? Also, the voice acting. Now, I don't usually cover this, but there is a dub, so I do think I want to cover it. I'm the type of person that will usually go for a dub over a sub any day just so I can understand what they're saying. I don't have to read subtitles if there is one. It would have to be the worst fucking dub ever for me to not go after the dub for the sub. Now, unfortunately, the internet was down for a little while, so I did have to watch the rest of the series. I forget from which point, though, on my computer, because I do have it downloaded as well. But for what it's worth, though, the dub's not that great. So if you're hesitant, alright, or you just like to watch the best of the best dubs and everything else you watch sub, go after the sub. If you hate all dubs anyways, you go after the sub anyways, obviously. But that being said, the dub isn't that great, but if I could have watched it to the end, I would have, just because I don't think it's horrendous, if you know what I mean. So yes, but anyways, I think I'm going to wrap up this review, though. Let me see how much time I have left here, or how much, almost 20 minutes, so yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up this review here. In all, I recommend this series completely. I loved this anime. I think it's a masterpiece. I had my complaints, sure, But I think it's a masterpiece, but it must be warned with two major things, or actually three major things. One, there's a lot in the series that is not explained well at all. Two, it took a while, which is kind of a complaint, I guess. It did take a while for me to get into it. Several episodes, actually. And three, and this is not a complaint, but it is the most depressing, the most depressing anime I've ever fucking seen. And yes, I've seen both Elfen Lied and Higurashi. This is the most depressing anime I've ever fucking seen, period. So if you don't like that kind of stuff, this is not going to be for you, okay? But I just want to give those warnings out there once again at the end. Anyways, personally, I do recommend this series wholeheartedly. I thought it was great despite my complaints. Masterpiece. A masterpiece in my eyes. So yes, but anyways, overall, hope you enjoyed this review, guys. See you after, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. So when these horrible things end up happening to them, you know, you do feel very bad for them, okay? The music in the series was also very good. Let me check here real quick, see who composed it. Maiko Lucci. I've never heard of Maiko Lucci, but the music was very good and it complemented the scenes very well, whether it's like a hardcore action scene, which are few and far between, mind you. Even in the action scenes, most of them have a lot of drama attached to them rather than being hardcore, but they do exist, and the music complements that very well. Or when it's supposed to be a sentimental drama scene, oh my god, the music is so beautiful in those scenes. Okay, it really is. So I have no complaints with the music. And the animation, well, first off, I have really nothing to say about the art. It's very generic and whatnot, and nothing more to really say there. In terms of the animation, though, that's really a mixed bag, because I wish the animation was better than it was, okay. In terms of JC staff, like, I thought that, for the most part, Golden Time had better animation, but this series had more opportunities for good animation. And in terms of dark series, I've recently finished watching Shinsekai Yori, which had phenomenal animation. Granted, from a different studio, but it's the same. They're both dark series, which is why I feel that it's worth mentioning, even though this is from JC staff and Shinsekai Yori is from A1 Pictures. Anyways, though, I think I'm going to pretty much just wrap up this review here. Really, my only major complaints were the animation wasn't as good as I'd like it to be, the art's very generic, and the biggest one, which is I wish it was a lot darker than it was, even though it was fairly dark already. Okay. Anyways, though, but I definitely recommend this series if you're into this kind of stuff, and it's quite enjoyable to watch, and I can't wait for Season 2. So yes, but anyways, overall, hope you enjoyed this review, guys. See you after, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.